very soon.
It's showtime.
Okay.
Hello guys and welcome back to the STPL. My name is Kix, joining me is Rapid. You're here watching ReV versus pSi. We're about to go into game number 3. It's going to be on Neo Ground Zero and it's going to be between these two players right here. No, it's not. We just saw those players.
Kicks. I tell you.
You know what? It's a good day.
It's a hard job killing esports, but somebody's got to do it. Kix woke up this morning and is like, but I really want to save esports today and try as hard as he might. Unfortunately, it just didn't work out that way. It's like if Kix was told to like boil water and he gets the pot out and he has like the pitcher of water, he's going to go pour it in the pot. And he goes to pour it in the pot and then just like dumps it on his face instead. I'm like, Kix, you were so close. But now here we go. We're ready.
We are. So on the left-hand side of your screen, we have one of ReV's newer players in the STPL roster. It's going to be CRVT. CRVT, a Protoss player, done pretty well so far for himself. 50% win rate against Zerg, so that's going to help him a little bit here. Cold, the man you may have remembered from the highlight videos from round 1, getting nuked 8 times by Radley. Unfortunately, hasn't had the best round 2 and round 3 so far. 0 for 2 in both of those. He's actually lost all 5 of his ZVPs, but he's going to be going up against CRVT. Maybe a more evenly matched game here on Neo Ground Zero. Neo Ground Zero, of course, from the 2012 TVing OSL, used more recently in Move Pro League Season 1. One of my favorite sort of standard maps, quite easy to take expansion, very easy to take third, mineral only, kind of like how Circuit Breaker works. And then you have sort of the gas bases. If you want to expand to a third gas, you either have to push into the middle of the map or take another one of the gigantic mains in one of the corners. Of course, a 4-player map as well. So without further ado, let's get into game number 3 between ReV versus Cold. It's 1-1, and it's starting now. And starting us off here on the left-hand side, we do have the Orange Protoss fighting for ReV. It's CRVT.
And his opponent in the bottom right-hand corner for pSi Storm. This is Cold. Cool. We didn't actually check the poll results, if I'm not mistaken, right? Oh, okay, whoops. Yeah. Anyway, I was checking out CRVT on the BSL ladder, and he's actually pretty highly ranked. He's a Latvian player, and he is 30th on this ladder. And it's actually pretty impressive, because that means he's above guys like Kogut, guys like Oyaji. That's pretty impressive. No slouch. He's ahead of Nogrim, like all these really good players. So actually doing very, very well for himself there. Obviously still 30th, so there's plenty of players above him, but at the end of the day, you know, there's still more BSL left to play. So I'm glad that of course Zero is out there doing it. Saw a few of his emojis in chat a few seconds ago. So yeah, the CRVT coming in here on the team who has statistically done better than Psystorm, but we'll see how Cold does here as he is going for a 9 pool.
Yeah, obviously the mains are very, very big on this map. It's a little bit harder to ball the natural expansion here for CRVT. It's a little bit of a wider entrance to your natural expansion, so this 9 pool could be a little bit more effective. Obviously he's gone into an Overlord behind this. Hasn't gone into gas, so it's not a super all-in 9 pool or anything. Likely just going to do it to try and fend off any kind of gateway expands. Doesn't really want to go for 12 hatch anymore. 12 hatch, a little bit more dangerous, especially on a map like this, where gateway expand is so unbelievably strong. Now, Cole doing a pretty good job microing his drones against the probe, trying to block any annoying pylon from coming down. Obviously, on like a map like Fighting Spirit, where you can just go take a really quick third base somewhere else, your drone actually has to run quite a long way away to go and take that extra gas. So really, really important to get that natural hatchery up, and he does in fact manage it. And it looks like the votes are in. CRVT has got 60% of the votes. Let's just check the number of voters. There was only 10 voters, but CRVT with 6 votes. So it looks like the viewers think that he is going to win. But Cold still has some fans in the audience as well. So that's all well and good.
Okay. Yeah, I would probably be around there. Obviously, I am an unbiasified caster. Actually, kind of an interesting thought. Probe's just getting chased around. Keeping an eye on that. An interesting thought is actually just did the finals of another tournament out here in Korea, and one of the things that they did is they brought in fan streamers to be double quotes bias casters. And so basically they would follow around a player who they were a specific fan of and just follow him around through the game. And it was a really cool idea. I hadn't thought of doing that, having multiple streams, like one stream just following one player and another stream just following another player. And I think I've talked about it with you, Kix, is I would love to like pick a game where we like only had the fog of war turned on for one player, so that you could talk about a little bit more about what his thought process would be if you didn't have this omniscient vision, because it does kind of make us dumber as commentators, because we don't know exactly what one player can see and the other player can't see.
Yeah, I mean, it obviously becomes a little bit easier, but one of the things I've always wanted to do, and it's very, very difficult to do, is back in the Pro League days, what they would do is, they did this in OSL as well, they'd obviously have cameras on both of the players' screens, and they'd like switch between them, and obviously you can kind of do that in StarCraft 2, but observers never really made use of it, which I was always kind of disappointed by. But it's just a really cool idea of being able to like switch all of a sudden to one of the players you use to see exactly where their attention is, see exactly what they're doing with their APM and everything. Because I mean, we're looking in the top right of the screen, and they're both on 200 and something APM, but it's kind of hard to exactly tell what they're looking at. Obviously, the observer interface has the ability to see the boxes of where the players are looking, which is really cool as well. But you don't get that in replays, so I guess it's a little bit harder to store that, so that makes sense.
Yeah, I actually just had a meeting about that a few days ago, and so I'm just saying that in possibly in some upcoming tournaments that might be implemented. That's maybe a thing. I don't know. But yeah, by far, watching pro players play, this is one of the reasons people watch pro streams that much. Is it's just intoxicating just watching somebody do something that fast. It's just like how are you this good at a game? That's why I watch a lot of effort streams and Bisu when he used to stream, because they're just like the fastest players on the planet. It's unreal.
Yeah, I used to get headaches watching Bisu stream. His camera just moves way too quickly. Like, my brain can't compute things as fast as his can. It's kind of crazy. But in this game, I guess, we've got Cold going for a very quick third base. Not actually opting to build any Sunkens or anything. Going to be relying a lot on pure Zergling here to defend against the early Zealots. They are going to be forced back in CRVT space. He's going for +1 attack, going into +1 air weapons as well, and going straight into the Citadel behind his Corsairs. So everything looking pretty standard for him.
Yeah, this is actually a very standard game. I always like to point out games that are standard because for a long time, I would watch pro games when I was trying to figure out Brood War, like, I don't know, 8, 9 years ago. I was like trying to figure out how to play it. I'm like, okay, like, so my games should kind of look like that. And obviously the games you're playing is like a 1300 player on, well, not on ladder, but just like an average player, maybe like D on Icy Cup. Are not going to look like pro games.
Yeah.
So I was just like, well, how do I learn how to play at this level? Because I didn't really know what standard was. And so it's kind of cool to watch games like this that maybe the map isn't the most standard map, but it's a pretty kind of casual way to start things out. You're seeing standard scouting timings, standard like build orders on both sides, and neither player's tried anything super aggressive just yet.
Yeah, it looks like we are going to have a full scout coming in here for CRVT. No Scourge or anything just yet to push those back. One of the Overlords going to go down. Unfortunately, it looks like Cold may be suiciding another Overlord in the middle of the map as this Corsair turns in the right direction. It's very close, but looks like it's just going to miss it. That's a little bit unfortunate there by CRVT. But Cold is just trying to macro up. He's finally adding some sunken colonies. He's likely going to add a spore colony as well. Now he's got his first evolution chamber, and he's just kind of turtling up. I guess one of the weird things about the look of this game is he is turtling up behind this crate walls, adding sunkens and everything, but he expanded to a close base, so he didn't go for another main or anything like that. A little bit harder to do that when your opponent is cross-spawn. But it's going to limit his options of taking a fourth a little bit later. But here we go, looks like the first set of Zealots are going to be on their way in. How much damage can they do? 2 Sunkens there, and a large number of Lings going to block them from getting up the ramp. So that's a little bit of a victory here for Cold.
Yeah. I think for Cold, and honestly any Zerg player in this situation, if you're going to be playing the Spy Patch style, which is super popular in PvZ, this is the timing you got to watch out for. This is what you die to, this is what you lose your drones to, this is what you lose your hatcheries to. It's just really rough, and already a bunch of drones going down. There's 1, 2, 3, okay, almost 3. But actually, the rest of the Zerglings couldn't really buy, or the rest of the Zealots couldn't really buy that much time, so I thought that could have been much worse if he had committed to killing either the drone line or the hatchery or something crucial like that.
Yeah.
But actually, he didn't accomplish all that much.
Yeah, he kind of wasn't really sure what to attack there. His units got a little bit confused. Some of them were attacking drones, as you saw. Some were attacking a building, and some were attacking the Lings. Not really getting the full damage output. Looks like CRVT behind this is looking to take a third base. He is going to have to expand towards the mineral only. A little bit harder for him to try and take one of the other mains, that middle base, as it is going to be so close to the Zerg opponent. But here we go. Looks like we are going to have some Hydras coming out for the first time in the middle of the map. Speed is finished. I believe range is done as well. If not, it's going to be quite close to finished as well. And he is just going to try and do what he can.
So there's actually no DT here. So a lot of times you can like skip your first one of your first High Templar and just go for like a Dark Templar. Obviously, there's that Bisu build where you go Corsair Dark Templar and that's your thing. Yeah. This is not that. This is definitely what you see more often. But especially if you're going to commit to like this many Corsairs, like 5 or 6 and +1. There are a lot of times where you can actually just kill every Overlord, and then 1 DT is enough to keep the Zerg back at home.
Yeah, now we are going to see a Spore Colony being added onto the main as well. He's going to have to make sure he can keep his Overlords alive. There is a DT in production now for CRVT. Scourge do connect on one of the Corsairs. Hydra getting a decent amount of damage down on one of them as well. One of them actually on 1 HP. If he takes a single shot, he's dead, I believe. But he is going to manage to get away with it. Looks like another Overlord is going to go down. Playing with fire, though, with these Corsairs, so can't afford to lose them.
Yeah, he has 2 of them on 1 HP. Okay. Wow, I can't believe he has 2 Corsairs on 1 HP.
There's actually no Hydras here. So, well, there is a single Hydra, but he's killing a load of Overlords. And there's some Zealots moving out on the middle of the map. At DT should be heading out as well. And if he kills all these Overlords and pushes in with this DT, it's going to be a lot of dead drones.
Why is he not? Oh my gosh. Yeah, obviously there's more overlords in production, but these overlords are in very bad
Oh,
spot.
Scourge.
More Scourge. Is he gonna try to fight them? He doesn't have enough Corsairs. I think you need 6 Corsairs to one-shot Scourge, right?
It's something like that. I don't like doing the math on stream,
It's either
so...
6 or 7, I believe. I'm not correct on that. Somebody tell me. Well, there's a DT in this base at the 3 o'clock location, and he's just gonna start one-shotting those drones.
Yeah, but good reaction times by Coles. Didn't lose too many. Only 2 drones. An Overlord is going to come up here as well. Looks like the Hydra tried to move in to block the DT. Just keep it in the sunken range. But that DT does manage to live to fight another day. But this DT did buy CRVT some time to get his third base up. He's going to be adding cannons here as well. Kind of interested as to why he's not just going to add the cannons at the base entrance. I guess a little bit worried about Mulus maybe coming in a little bit later. There are still a good number of Scourge heading over the map. +1 Zealot still, +2. Not even halfway finished yet, so CRVT is in a bit of an awkward situation. He is kind of low on gateways for this stage in the game, but he's still got a big supply lead.
Yep. And it's still a fantastic spot. I mean, obviously, I think one of the biggest things that I always like to talk about is the Protoss third base, because it's, especially against 5-hatch, it can be really, really difficult to take that. Because all of a sudden you just get swarmed by a billion Hydralisks and your base dies. And if you can't get the third base up, then not only are you missing your third gas, but it's also, like, your main's just going to mine out after a while. And so, that can be a big tipping point. But enough pressure was put on by CRVT that he can have his third base, keep it up, and the Zerg player is still stuck on 3 mining bases. And so that is something that now the Zerg player is going to have to remedy under fear of either getting pushed by a million man lots or having Corsairs run in and kill all your overlords.
Yeah, I mean, the one benefit that Cold does have in this situation is he does have that gas advantage. He's supply blocked once again. CRVT has done an insane job killing so many overlords, and it looks like Cold has actually hit breaking point here. He wants to push across the map. Is this going to be a mistake? There's a lot of Storm here on these High Templar. There's a lot of Corsairs to take down the overlords as well. But how is the engagement going to be? A nice first Storm doing a lot of damage, but a lot of it dodged. Once again, the Corsairs all actually going down here nearly. And the Hydra's still microing back. A really good engagement by Cold so far.
Oh, but actually, these next 2 storms are actually fantastic, so that is going to do it. But the Hydras aren't all there. A lot of them have moved northbound and are actually trying to take out the cannons here at this expansion. There's a bunch of Overlords with them, so I thought for a second that he might have had researched Overlord drop and then just go drop in the main. I'd be like, wow, that is such a sick Gosu move. But he hasn't. He's just trying to keep them there with the army and detect any DT shenaniganry. So
yeah, the thing is, he is going to be able to take down this 4th base, so that's an all-important gas base here for CRVT to get. The Hydra's going to pounce on the Nexus. It's likely going to be cancelled. The probe taken down as well. And this is a little bit of a win here for Cold. Now, Cold is still going to have trouble expanding. There's a DT just running around trying to take out any like hidden hatcheries or anything. But even taking down this pylon as well, and dodging a storm. That's a little bit of another victory here for Cold.
Yeah, wow, those Hydras live way longer than I'm used to seeing. Okay, I guess they have good health insurance. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they're UK Hydras.
That was private property, so the Dragoons didn't want to attack them.
Nice. Well, anyway, the 4th base for the Zerg player is still not up. So I'm like, well, where are you gonna get that? Sort of the weird things about this map in particular is that 3rd or 4th bases are really weird to take, because if you try to take them northbound, then the distance by land is just forever. And if you try to go for the close base at the 6 o'clock location, there's no gas there. So obviously for Zerg, you need as many gases as you can get.
Yeah, Zerg is definitely gas hungry in this matchup. Cold is still really far behind the supply. CRVT has exploded in that gateway count. He's building a lot of units at once now, and Cold could find himself in a little bit of trouble. He's trying to add lurkers on, but he just doesn't have the numbers. He doesn't have the positioning, and he still doesn't have the 4th base either. And more Hydras getting caught off guard here on the left-hand side of the map. And these are units that Cold realistically cannot afford to replace, so he has to be very careful. And he's going to be up against a large army heading up to his fourth base here. A lot of the Lurkers out of position, a lot of the Hydras out of position as well. But, I mean, CRVT isn't actually really committing to an attack here. He's just kind of running around the center, playing Ring Around the Rosie. But looks like he's deciding to dodge on the army for now, or jump on the army even.
Being a little bit indecisive, but still, this is almost an unwinnable fight for Cold. He's at such a huge supply deficit, and beyond that, he's only just now taking that mineral only at the south side, so this is just a really rough spot, and half his army is going to die to Storm anyway, so oh my goodness. I mean, sure, Darkstorm would actually be fantastic here if he can get it. I don't think he has, does he have Hive yet? No, it's just now finished morphing,
yeah.
So if he had Darkstorm here, 90% of this army is Dragoons, so that would be pretty good, but I mean, there's still Psi Storm, and he doesn't have Darkstorm for a very long time, so good luck.
Yeah, looks like this is going to be a little bit incomprehensible here for Cold as he's trying to hold on. He's only got 3 Lurkers here with this army, has very few Hydra. This nice Storm here, and it looks like CRVT may have done enough to break through. He's up 100 supply. 4th base not possible here for Cold. I mean, he is getting the mineral only, but he badly needs the gas. And it looks like CRVT's broken him. Cold, GG's, taps out. And that's going to give ReV the 2-1, wait, yeah, this is game 3, 2-1 lead in the series.
Yeah, GG. That's actually fantastic to watch. Basically the most standard way that you can play it as a Protoss player. Obviously, I think it's you can't expect to get that many Overlord kills in the middle of the game, or to just be allowed to macro on 3 bases for free, essentially. But really well played there. So that actually is meaning that this is starting to look like a lot of the other series that Psi Storm have played, where they can win a series or they can win a match, but it's tough to win the entire series.
Yeah, Pedmaster is an absolute boss as well. Nearly most of his games he's won, so really, really cool player to look out for. But we're going to be back with game number 4 just after this. We're going to have someone called Thomas, who I believe is Terran, up against Marine here on Plasma. See you guys very soon.